Well,
And you're live, yeah. Ooh, okay.
I don't know if you guys can hear it or not, but there's like the sound of bowls coming from outside. Nice little atmosphere, which can only mean one thing: India have won
5 runs.
5 runs.
In the end, that rain delay has actually helped India.
Yeah, actually.
Actually, if you look at it, because look, Bangladesh were cruising 66 for no.
Let's just say rain helped both the teams, didn't it?
No, more India.
No,
More
because
India.
I think it harmed Bangladesh.
It harmed. Why I'll tell you. Liton Das, 60 of 27, absolutely going like a train. Second run, he slipped.
He slipped, yeah.
The outfield.
But with the target getting minimized, what do you say?
No. Actually,
171.
they actually had to score at the same rate.
Same rate. Yeah, so things didn't change much.
Didn't
actually.
change for
Much,
Bangladesh.
yeah.
The only major problem was that major break.
Yeah.
And that run out maybe?
They needed
The run out?
9.2 per over when the rain
When the rain
happened.
started to begin, yeah?
At the start itself, they
Yeah.
needed 9.2. Now they needed 9.4.
So really, it was more or less the same.
It
Yeah.
was the same. So India have won by 5 runs despite Liton Das's blitz. Hardik Pandya and Arshdeep proving to be the stars. Although Arshdeep yet again, luckily had a cushion of 20 in the final over. He still conceded 16.
16.
15. He conceded 15.
Yeah.
So
But we've seen him do better than he did, let's say, in the last over. But let's just say that, the conditions were, again, let's just not forget, that it rained heavily.
it rained heavily.
The conditions
yes.
weren't that friendly for a bowler.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I mean, if you have to look at it, that 6 and 4 that Ashwin hit in the final over,
Was very, very.
very good,
Very good.
in the sense
As,
that.
Kirubakaran Ramachandran, I hope I got that right. Said,
He mentioned this. Okay.
Guys, 6 by Ashwin. Yep, makes a lot of difference.
Makes a
No,
lot
but
of
then
difference, yeah.
that 2 and 3 that Virat also hit in the end was crucial. Every run matters in that case.
Yeah.
So India are all but through to the semi-finals now. 6 points.
all but.
All but. because what will happen is if they lose to Zimbabwe. I know it will not happen, but
Yeah.
if Pakistan beats South Africa and South Africa wins against the Netherlands and Pakistan hammer Bangladesh,
Then comes
their
our
net
net
run rate is actually better than India's. So
But lots of ifs and buts there. We're not trying to scare you. And lots of ifs and buts over there.
That last comment.
yeah,
Just please, I need to take that.
people want to drop him.
Yes, I still want to drop him. Sorry, but it's a fact. I still want to drop him. I am not judging my lead spinner by his batting contributions. Let's be very frank.
Yes. See, at the end of the day, Ashwin's knock, but you're looking at him as a bowler. You're not looking at him as a batsman. It's a team
yeah.
game. Yes, everybody's brilliance counts at the end of the day. 1 run, even if Hardik Pandya had scored 1 run or 1 ball and India wins in that, it's still a match-winning knock.
Yeah, it's that one run that becomes priceless, right? But
Yeah.
But again, Ashwin's a bigger discussion here altogether. Perhaps for a different time, maybe Ravichandran Ashwin.
Yeah,
Maybe
he's not done too much good or too much bad in this game.
Yeah.
Let's just.
But being wicketless is a problem for Ashwin.
That's been his MO, unfortunately.
7 matches, just 3 wickets.
Exactly.
2 against the Netherlands and 1 against South Africa. That too, when that batsman was attempting a very weird shot. Tristan Stubbs was running a reverse sweep. That was not needed. But again, Sridhar Savaikar is saying India versus Bangladesh always produces a thriller, excellent display of fielding, running direct catches. Oh yes. The game-changing moment actually came from KL Rahul. That direct hit.
And not just that, I think today India's fielding was levels better than it was against South Africa.
Yep. We saw some very good catches, high catches taken under pressure.
Surya with
Surya.
Huda coming on as a sub
Sub,
for like
yeah,
one
exactly.
over.
Surya taking 2 of them, if I'm not
Yes,
wrong.
Surya took 2.
Correct. So Surya
And
Kumar
Arshdeep also hanging on to a
Hanging
catch.
on to
Rohit Sharma was
exactly.
praying. Rohit Sharma was
Sharma.
praying.
He wasn't the only one.
So I feel
He wasn't the only one with his heart in his mouth.
No. I get a feeling Rohit Sharma is like Bhuvan of Lagan. He's praying for Baga Arshdeep to take the catch. I mean, that is what he was. So that is why Bangladesh will only have themselves to blame. I mean, come on.
But well played, Bangladesh. Let's be honest over here. At the halfway stage, we were in the studio. We were with Pragyan when he said that
we were discussing what are the permutations.
we were on the brink of discussing winning margins for India.
Yeah.
Right? We were so sure of a win with that 180.
Liton Das, my God.
Yeah.
That knock. And I think, to be fair, to the credit of that Bangladesh team, I think they were well prepared for the rain, which is why they went.
Which is why they went for the attack.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay, so India's net run rate is plus 0.73. And that means they are now below Pakistan at this point in time, which is why I am saying they are closer to the semis, but no team. Even now, from Group 1 and Group 2, no team is guaranteed a semi spot.
It looks, if results are to go the way it looks like on paper it will, with let's say India playing Zimbabwe next, it does look like India could fit in that second position on this group.
So Akash Bharadwaj, okay, I'll tell you the qualifying scenario of Oz and is in qualified for semi. Not yet. India will have to win their game against Zimbabwe. If that happens,
it's sealed. Then it's a done deal. Then it's a done deal. Then.
If India beats Zimbabwe, they are through. South Africa, by the way, are still not yet through, because if they lose to Pakistan,
then the group is
they will play the Netherlands.
Exactly.
So, no disrespect to the Netherlands, they beat Pakistan, they beat Zimbabwe in the game today.
Team in this side.
They are the weakest team.
In this side.
So, but South Africa are the only undefeated team in the T20 World Cup
tournament right now. Yeah.
New Zealand lost to England that day. So there is now, what about Australia, Akash Bharadwaj? Australia now are in a very dire situation. Very dire.
Yeah, it's that game, like we were saying, it's that first game against New Zealand that really
New Zealand did them a double whammy. Defeated them by a big margin
and
they lost to England.
That's right.
So that is why now England, New Zealand take on Ireland. So that is one game where you can, for New Zealand it is simple. They have to win. If they win, they are through. Their net run rate is +2.
That goes for what? 4 teams over there in that group. The other group, you win and you're in it. More of a knockout situation that most teams have for themselves now.
So
even Sri Lanka are in it.
But Sri Lanka are on 4 points.
Yeah.
But if Australia wins, Sri Lanka are out.
If Australia wins, Sri Lanka are out.
Because Australia will get to 7. And Sri Lanka 6. If Sri Lanka beats England, then Australia are through. If they beat Afghanistan.
Yeah, because I think we're expecting them to beat Afghanistan.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if Sri Lanka can spring that upset and then Australia win, they're through.
That's
easy.
So that is the situation for Australia.
So they only have limited things in their hands.
Yeah.
Which Australia is a really tough situation.
Yeah.
Really
tough situation.
Australia will have to hope that they win against Afghanistan and Sri Lanka beats England. But the advantage that Australia have is, I think, the disadvantage is England are playing much after them.
So they know what to get.
Exactly. That's what I think Josh Butler was pointing out yesterday. He said that being able to play afterwards, big advantage.
Because
you know
exactly. You know the scenarios then. So you know.
So this is the situation.
Just let's say like Bangladesh sort of knew what they had to do with that rain forecast, let's say, that they had in mind.
But I think out of syllabus is, how could the game be called within 20 minutes? So I think that threw them out of course. And they were not held by some poor shot. Shakib mistiming one to the short boundary and holding out. So
holding out, yeah.
That was the worst thing that we can say about the Bangladesh. The only problem is lack of consistency in the big hitting. And it's so in strike rates. Not a single batsman is over 145, 150. You need that kind of strike
interesting
rates.
question there. Can Pant replace Aksar?
Pant
for DK with a back issue was a natural replacement.
There was
but
one question also that was asking, like Anuj Gogoi had said that, what is the usefulness of Akshar in this 11 because he barely bowled. Today was a very mitigating circumstance because there were so many left-handers against Pakistan.
Because I think 4 of the top 6 were left-handers. So yeah,
and the reason he didn't bowl much against Pakistan was obviously.
But it made sense. Just to answer that question more, it made sense to have an Akshar in the batting lineup because again he gives you that depth. He can give you some runs, just like let's say the amount of runs that Ashwin gave you right towards the end. So Akshar's capable of giving you a little more than that also on his day.
Yes. See, I don't. This management is not too keen on making so many changes at this point in time.
At this point, otherwise they have
the like replace. See, Akshar came in place of whom today? Huda. We know that Huda does not inspire that much confidence with his bowling.
At least
he's never bowled really. Even then,
except in ODIs.
Exactly.
I'm 100% sure Rohit Sharma doesn't rate his bowling.
Exactly.
It doesn't seem like he has that much confidence.
So, 31 of 12 could have gone either way. 5-run loss for Bangladesh. They have only themselves to blame, by the way, because look, you lost momentum in the middle overs.
Yeah, but I mean, you lost momentum also because of a rain interruption.
but
I think all things said and done, they put up a very good
fight. I think
they over.
They kept challenging India right till the very last
over. Yes.
Yeah, with the last 3 balls in mind as well. Let's not forget. So they did their very best. Let's say.
Yeah, I mean, Nazmul Hossain Shanto was 7 of 16. Liton Das was 59 of 24. I guess the lack of sustained pressure from both ends also. I mean, 66 for no loss. The base was laid.
But I think the question that begs here is, are India to blame themselves for making this 180, 485 look like a easy total for Pakistan, or making this into a
they didn't bowl well in the power play.
Difficult match altogether for themselves.
Even later on, barring the middle overs where they were bowling like a dream, very economical, got plenty of wickets.
Yeah.
It was the death again. You saw slight erring in line.
16 runs, 12 runs being given. And you expect tighter bowling.
Exactly, and at that point the margins are so fine because it's the death overs. Batsmen are gonna go for it. You can't.
And Bangladesh did have the wickets at one point.
They did.
They were very much in it till the 12th over.
Yes. So that is why, look, Bangladesh, that lack of sustained, consistent hitting, that has always been
one
missing.
batsman after Litton to kind of bat through and bat at that pace.
But the game-changing moment, that throw from KL Rahul, and more importantly, Litton slipping. He slipped when he turned for the second run, middle way. And that is why you saw how angry he was. And that one slip up resulted in a couple of inches. Had he made it with the dive, even if he had not slipped up, he could have made it.
There was a slim chance.
These kind of small margins, you need luck going your way also.
But let's talk about India and what lies there. Any questions answered? Anything that we were looking for in this match? Any revolution?
I will just say one thing. Predicting the Indian cricket team performance and what is they're playing and what is in their mind is a far more complicated scenario than figuring out astrophysics. Astrophysics is easier as compared to identifying, is this Indian cricket team really having some standout performance? I thought it was a very middling performance today.
Truth be told, if you're asking me,
it was.
Yes, you go on.
Go ahead.
The thing is, the questions that I have about team composition still remain.
Yeah.
The positives on the other hand, which are there in this side, are reinforced.
My question is, any positive from this match that you saw?
Fielding for sure.
Right.
The bowling in the middle overs.
But fielding in general, are you saying just the kind of performance that we saw, let's say, in the game against South Africa, let's say?
No, I think what happened was that South Africa...
Overall fielding, you're saying?
South Africa really was a down...
The down off.
It was a low point, let's be fair. To come back from that, to then actually do this, full credit.
Yeah, I think the fielding is one thing which has improved significantly. And so, yes... Is this, Davis, before I come to that, is this new guy replacement any more addition to your team? It's an addition. Please welcome Harshdeep Davis Cricket. He's now an integral part of Sports Today's family from day one, and what a way to make his debut. 5-run win.
5-run win.
Yes, a thriller. And I think Harshdeep's arrival is going to see some thrillers now, and India are making it to the semis, so you know who to appreciate if India makes it to the semi-finals.
I don't mind being called the lucky charm.
Yeah. See, this World Cup, has given me 2011 vibes. Not because of the coincidence of everything.
Or because are we playing the Netherlands all over again?
Two thrillers out of nowhere. I mean, look, you suffered a loss against South Africa. It's happened in 2011 also. You suffered a similar kind of a situation against the West Indies, where you collapsed, but then you still held on for a win.
Yeah.
Somewhere down, you are going to play a high-octane quarterfinal against Australia, which they had to play through the skin of their teeth to qualify. I am just saying that apart from the fielding, some issues still remain. KL Rahul's form is a good example that, he's been struggling for form. He's back to some semblance of a form. But against the England bowling attack, potentially, maybe against the New Zealand bowling attack, maybe against the South African bowling attack, potentially yet again.
Yeah.
We'll see how he performs. Problem areas are still there. I'm not still concerned. I'm very concerned about the death bowling. Very much concerned, because 31 of 12, had it been 25 of 12, you would have very well lost the game.
Right.
Ashwin's lack of penetration is really, really worrying.
Yeah, but it seems like they're going to back him to the hilt. So that's the hill they'll choose to die.
Yes. And luckily today, had the momentum been sustained and rain not come, who knows what the result would have been.
Yeah. It would have been very interesting though if Sri Lanka managed to take it all to the very end. Had there not been rain interruption, they had the start to take this match to the very end, perhaps win it as well.
Which game you're talking about?
We're talking about today.
You're talking about Sri Lanka suddenly. That's why I was like, okay.
Meant Bangladesh.
Yeah, DK is running out of time. Well, DK was anyway living on borrowed time, Rohit Roy. I mean, see, we were not going to consider
long term.
He's talking about why he's not been picked for the New Zealand team. But honestly, Rohit Roy, I think DK is still the T20 World Cup only. I don't see him and
Multiple
Ashwin.
reports doing the rounds as well. If those reports are anything to go by.
Yes.
Now, but I think just to add to that, I think we all sort of knew that DK was not going to be in the scheme of things in the longer run. But his form, the kind of finesse that he showed, he had to have a place in this team.
But so far, he's not set the World Cup on fire. That's the unfortunate thing. And plus, his keeping has been slightly dodgy.
Today it was not too bad.
Not too bad, yeah. So, Roy SP with a super chat. This was a fantastic match of cricket. Agreed. Proper team effort. Agreed. Do you see any changes in the future? Winning combination continues. See, so far you're winning. I think you will stick to this combination.
I see no change in this.
Yep. VK has the highest strike rate in death overs, but he's not faced many deliveries. Manikant Reddy. 64 of 44. I mean, 145 strike rate is excellent. But DK, let's say VK, Virat Kohli, he's adopted a different template altogether now. He's adopting the Dhoni template.
Take the match deep.
Take the match deep. He was 32 of 28. Remember during the 13th, 14th over mark. He scores 32 in the next 16. A 200 plus strike rate thing. 200, exact 200 strike rate.
Again, we're seeing a thing with his innings now. Against Pakistan as well, we saw, last 30 runs being scored of just last 12 deliveries that he faced or something like that. So, but he likes to take his time. We've known that style of play. He takes his time and then he goes big right towards the end. And truth be told, the batting order hasn't really fired. He's been put in that situation. Let's take, for example, the Pakistan game only. The situation demanded Kohli to stay.
Yes. And luckily he stayed. And Pandya, apart from that game against Pakistan, he's also struggled. India are yet to encounter a great bowling unit in this T20 World Cup.
They did.
Well, South Africa, exactly.
I'm saying in the semis which they will play.
Right.
They may face England, they may face Australia, or they may face New Zealand.
Yeah.
That will be a real test. Because against South Africa, you knew. Luckily, it was in Perth for South Africa. Ideal conditions for their bowlers. Hit the deck, zipping through, bounce. I mean, look.
We saw that with Kohli's dismissal, with Rohit's dismissal. High on the bat.
You saw Nortje.
Nokia,
145 plus. Pant and DK debate can be settled by the thing that what we are looking for, a better keeper or batter at number 6. Pant at number 6 might not be great.
Yeah, and I think especially
interesting. Very valid point as well, I feel.
In recent times, especially Pant has been more of a 4-5 at most. Unless you want to put a Hardik Pandya lower down the order,
which you won't, because Hardik's just done well right up top,
number 5,
for the Gujarat Titans as well, and with India as well.
I think, look, now with the problem with Pant is that since he did not capitalize on the chances that he was given, now you also have a problem with the batting. Where will you slot Pant? Because if you slot him in place of
you can only
DK,
possibly have him right up top if KL Rahul continues with his poor show. But he's shown good, a good sort of comeback today, and that's the only way. Because otherwise, to slot Pant into this batting lineup,
number 6 is
you need
not
to juggle a couple of other things as well.
Number 6 is not Pant's position. I'm sorry.
It's too late for him. That's one.
Yep.
2, you've actually got somebody who's been doing that finishing role and has got good pedigree now with him.
Okay, Amit Khajuria, what we play entire year, we haven't been able to play in this tournament yet. Where is that bang approach? Again, same approach whom everyone is criticizing, outdated approach.
Yeah, but I think, they're playing according to the situation. I don't think you can be going bang at Perth.
You can't go bang in Australia.
You can't in Australia.
See, Pragyan Ojha was here. He made a very valid point. See, respect the conditions. You cannot go bang in Australia, because the conditions for the first 6 overs will be pretty difficult for batting. After that, when the pitch eases out, you can go bang. Because look, not many teams can successfully chase 180, 190 in Australia. In fact, if you make 170, you all but won the game. That is how the nature of the condition is in Australia. So, Amit, we can't go bang right from the very beginning. If we do it, then we are in big trouble. We lose 4 to 5 wickets, and then to recover from that, we'll be in a par negative situation. Rohit Sharma saying go for a par plus score. Don't go for par, go for par plus. So that is why I would like to say that let us take it to be one game at a time, have a different approach for different games, looking at the conditions. So India have won by 5 runs with a net run rate of 0.73 and they are sitting right at the top, but have not yet sealed qualifying for the semi-finals yet. Now what is the way ahead in Group 1? Well, Group 2, sorry, India are in Group 2. The remaining fixtures that India has is with Zimbabwe. Tomorrow could be a make or break day for the group because Pakistan take on
playing
South Africa.
That's as good as a virtual quarterfinal.
It is a
knockout game for the two teams.
Yeah.
In many ways.
Not actually for
Not for South Africa though,
But for Pakistan.
it
Yes.
is.
It's a must-win match.
Pakistan, if they lose, they are out. Tomorrow they are out.
Simple
Yes.
as.
But if they win, South Africa are still not out of it.
But neither are they in.
But the problem will be their last game against the Netherlands becomes a virtual qualifying for them. If they beat the Netherlands, they are through because they are the only team now that can get to 7 points.
Correct.
That's right.
Yes, even if they beat Pakistan, tomorrow if South Africa wins, they are the first team to seal their spot in the semi-finals.
From this
Group.
Yeah.
And in all certainty, even India have also made it. Because now either of Bangladesh or Pakistan can only get to 6, but Bangladesh's net run rate is pretty poor.
Bad.
Yeah.
So South Africa can do 2 teams a favor. One, knock Pakistan out. That will be a favor for Pakistan considering. Why I'm saying this? Not in a sarcastic way or any this thing. Bare facts. With the batting lineup that they have, Pakistan do not deserve to go into the semi-finals. Simple. Because you can't win a World Cup just on 2 players. Just on the back of 2 players, and that will those 2 players who
Are out
score
of form.
80% of the bulk of the runs of
And who are
Pakistan.
out of form right now.
Simple. Babar and Rizwan combined 1,520 runs. The rest of the batting 1,475 runs in 1 year. 1 year. That's awarded for Pakistan. So that is the situation that we have in Group 2. That India, if they win against Zimbabwe, they are through. South Africa, if they beat Pakistan tomorrow, Pakistan are out. South Africa are in the semi-finals. And most
And
likely,
more or less,
India
India's position
also
sealed as well.
Yes. Now then will be a question of who finishes on top in Group 2.
Who's
It
going
will
to be
South
important as
Africa
well?
versus India for Group 1
For position 1 and 2.
Yep. But in Group 1, oh boy, the situation is not very promising. Australia are on the brink of elimination primarily because their net run rate is the worst and 3 teams are on 5 points each. England, New Zealand and Australia. England will now play their last league game against Sri Lanka. Equation for them is win, they are through.
And see.
Win and you're in. Simple as.
Win and in.
Same with New Zealand. Win against Ireland, they're in. For Australia, they have to hope Sri Lanka beats England. But if England win and Australia are chasing against Afghanistan, if they chase, I'm just assuming a target of 100, they need to chase it down in 6 overs.
To be able to overhaul that net run.
Yes, but unfortunately, England are playing last, Australia are playing first. So even then we don't know what is the situation.
Can we take that super chat?
Yeah, let's take that super chat.
I think it's Rahul Vasudev.
Yeah, I think it is Rahul Vasa. Yes, our good friend.
It's our
Rohit
friend.
captaincy was lit as fire. Bowling changes were excellent. India won from nowhere against Pak and Ban. Lost a close match. They say India is peaking. You think India peaking?
Peaking, no, but they're getting results, and that's
They are hanging in there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They are just hanging in there.
They're being very effective, I would say. Very, very effective in whatever they're doing. Let's say Hardik with the ball today was effective. But are they clinical? Maybe
No,
not.
they are not clinical. They are just
Exactly. They're getting the results.
See, I don't think you need to be clinical to win a World Cup. If you just get the right result at the right time.
I mean, Australia did it last year.
Exactly. The last year, right?
No one saw them as favourites. And
They won
They
the
won
tournament
and they
without
won.
having lost a game, right?
exactly.
Yeah, they lost 1 game to England, and India would be happy to face New Zealand in semis. Then England or Australia, Kevin Rao, are you sure?
India's record against New Zealand in ICC tournaments is bad. So they would not
Woeful.
want that.
Woeful.
So and truth be told, I think none of those options are good options.
Yeah. Look, I want to work. Please let me get the privilege to once again say 1992 New Zealand versus India lost. 1999 India versus New Zealand lost.
The only time they won was
2003.
That's it.
And that too because McCullum dropped a catch of Dravid, of Shane Bond. Let me be very clear. 2007 T20 World Cup. Oh, India won that, but guess who they lost to? New Zealand. 2009 T20 World Cup warm up. New Zealand won. 20 forget the others. 2000 Champions Trophy final. New Zealand won. 20 if I have to say 2019 2021 T20 World Cup. New Zealand won. 2016 New Zealand won. 2019 World Cup semi-final. New Zealand won.
So I do not.
Brisbane India were saved by a no result.
Right.
So India better not face New Zealand in the semi-final.
Although, to be fair, is there any good option?
Or let's not recall ourselves about the World Test Championship as well.
So
New Zealand aren't good opposition. So
man, I mean, imagine I was praying in the 2015 World Cup. Please, India somehow beat Australia so that New Zealand could have a chance to beat them in Melbourne. That didn't happen. So,
that wishful thinking.
Very wishful. Yeah, Australia came and royally routed New Zealand.
Yeah.
So why
that match? I only remember for one moment where you knew it was over. Mitch Starc, Brendan McCullum. Yeah, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's the World Cup done.
Yes, that's it. And McCullum, McCullum.
Bang bang, Mr. Bang bang.
That's where I would want to see. Why don't you go back? Amit Khajuria, you saw how that happened. Even it was an ODI World Cup, but bang bang does not work in Australia. Simple.
And bang bang doesn't. It's a situational thing. You can't have that mindset that I'm going to hit every ball out of the six, out of the ground for all time.
All times. Yeah.
Even Josh Butler has not been batting like that. David Warner has struggled. It's not a coincidence.
So why is no one questioning Akshar as soon as they're questioning Ashwin? And Ashwin is contributing more with the bat and the number of overs.
Of course, he'll contribute more number of overs. He's your lead spinner. And as for the
and you've got to bowl him because that's why you're picking him in the side.
Exactly.
See, Akshar has not done much with the bat
or
and
the ball.
with the ball. Unfortunately,
I think one over.
No, he but took wickets against Netherlands. No, he bowled 4 overs in that.
Oh, sure.
He took 3.
I think he took 3 wickets.
3 wickets. I think he
have
took
to check
3.
that. Yeah. So Akshar did take wickets.
So that means your second spinner has more wickets than your lead spinner.
Yes. Oops. He has 3 wickets. Akshar has 3. They're level, actually.
And but less number of overs though.
Less number of overs. 5 overs, 3 wickets. Ashwin has 16 overs and 3 wickets. Exactly. Kind of. Oh boy. So that is
a good time to be Ashwin. And truth be told, unless he has one of those matches where he's getting you a couple of wickets in the middle overs, that question will remain.
Of course, because see, his economy isn't a matter of concern. We know he's very economical that ways. But we need wickets.
But exactly.
Nagasasi has 2 or 3.
Oh, he's got 2 wickets. Ashwin has got. Akshar has 2. Akshar has got 2. Yes. Now, what is DK? What do DK
2
do?
for Akshar, yeah.
Yep.
Someone else as well.
What is DK?
The same guy.
Okay, Pant, why not? I mean, Saikat. I mean, again,
but why not? I mean, the question should be why.
Then
you remember why he was dropped?
No, then it totally changes the batting composition, Saikat. I mean, look, you can't put Pant at 6. I'm very sorry. You can't put Akkar.
I think we're all on the same platform, on the same page when we say that Pant cannot bat so low in the batting order.
No. If you put him up the order, what do you do with KL Rahul? What do you do with Surya? What do you do with their batting position?
So again,
VK is fixed at 3.
Yeah.
Virat
is fixed at 3. Surya is fixed at 4. Pandya is fixed at 5. So you're only left with number 6 or you're looking at the opening slot.
Exactly.
KL Rahul at number 6. I'm sorry, boss. KL can
you're
be number
disaster then.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. If you get Pant now, your batting order goes for a toss.
Yeah, so unless it's an absolute emergency, and I don't see.
And by the way, you could also look at Ishan Kishan. Remember, you played Ishan Kishan for the majority of this year as an opener.
Yeah.
Yes, he's fallen. He's not.
But he's not in the squad.
Exactly. Just saying. Just thinking aloud at the moment, going forward as well. If this is the team, because your top 5 don't change even after the World Cup. Yes. Number 6, you could see something beyond DK happening after the World Cup gets over. But otherwise, this top 5 is going to stay intact.
And don't forget, even if you're looking at top 6, consider the fact, and this is again me just thinking out loud.
Jandu comes back.
Jaddu, no, Sanju Samson.
Yeah, Samson as well.
has said very clearly that the team has been telling me to work on my
To
finishing.
finishing, yes.
So, and
yes.
he's also a wicketkeeper. So, he doesn't really
And
upset
he's
the order at
in-
all. And he's in the ODI.
He's in the ODI T20
Correct?
series as well.
So, it's
So
not
that could be the plan going forward as well. So
That is about it.
things looking bleak for Rishabh Pant.
Yeah,
as
if
far
you're a
as-
Pant fan, and it's harsh,
Yeah.
you can say to some extent, but if you look at his form in white ball cricket, then he doesn't have anyone but himself to blame.
Yeah.
No, not white ball.
He got
I'd say
chances.
T20 cricket.
T20.
ODI, he at least got some form of
Plus, he
125.
got that match-winning 100 also against
That's England, yeah.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, Pant, we don't see him play any role in this World Cup because India are, let's be very honest, India are making it to the semi-finals. There's no.
Yeah.
Yeah, in all likelihood,
In all
yeah, of
likelihood,
course.
it's pretty much
Yes.
a given at this point.
So, that is about it that we have from Adelaide. For people joining us now, rewind the tape. India have beaten Bangladesh by 5 runs
one
thanks to
step
the
closer to the semi-final.
Yep.
Yep.
DLS method. It was a game reduced to 16 overs.
By rain.
4:28 p.m. IST, we started to lose overs, and then it became a 16-over encounter. Bangladesh fell short by 5 runs. Liton Das the star with 60, but Arshdeep and Hardik Pandya the stars for India with the
Held
ball.
them out.
Excellent ground fielding. KL Rahul's run out plus Surya Kumar Yadav's 2 very
Catches.
solid catches ensured that India are one step closer to the semi-final. And their last league game of the T20 World Cup will happen on November 6th
This Sunday.
at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Don't worry. The worst of the weather is over in Melbourne. It's sunny. So don't worry. Yes, there is more concern. Forget Zimbabwe, India-Zimbabwe. This city is hosting the final. What will happen in that? So in case if rain washes out the final, there is a reserve.
There is a reserve day.
Yes.
There is a reserve.
Luckily, the ICC have had
Enough force.
the light in their head to ensure that they had
There's a
a
foresight there.
because they know.
So, but speaking of the semi-final, since we mentioned one's taking place at the SCG, the other at this
Adelaide.
venue as well,
Yes.
right?
India would
So
want
it's
Adelaide.
good that India's getting acclimatized to these grounds. You're playing another game at the MCG. Hopefully, you come back to the
India are playing 3
MCG.
games at the MCG. If you include the final,
Yeah,
then you're playing
exactly.
2
So you're
games
getting
at
acclimatized
Sydney.
to the conditions.
Absolutely.
Yep. Luckily, they're not playing in Perth, where India have a bad record.
Bad record, yeah.
In the 2 matches that they played, the Test and T20.
Yeah.
So
Anyhow,
tomorrow is the first quarter-final of
first
the
virtual quarterfinal. then.
Virtual,
come
exactly.
on, virtual.
No, let's call it that because it's not actually technically
It
a
is
quarterfinal.
Pakistan versus South Africa tomorrow at the Sydney Cricket Ground. South Africa are the only team who have not been defeated in the T20 World Cup so far.
And Pakistan really need to win.
Temba Bavuma, for all those who are criticizing him, his winning percentage as captain of South African T20 World Cups is a staggering 75. In
And could have been
2021, and no, it couldn't have been 100%.
Oh, yeah, right.
Because in his
Last year,
captaincy
yeah.
debut in 2021, South Africa lost to Australia.
Right, I forgot on that.
And since then, they have only won.
Yeah.
So it is a staggering 75%. That is what Temba Bavuma's captaincy is. Tomorrow, if Pakistan lose, hasta la vista.
That's
End of the
easy.
road for
End of the
Pakistan.
road for them.
Yep. And if South Africa lose, oh boy,
Then it really sets the cat among the pigeons for that final group game.
yeah.
Then permutations, combinations come into play.
But
I still say South Africa would not be
South
too
Africa are
worried.
playing Netherlands, and Virat Kohli is the man of the match. I thought you should have given it to Arshdeep.
No, but I think he was a bit expensive towards the end. Unfortunately.
But yeah, Virat Kohli 64 of 44.
Again, good knock. Routine knock.
Yawn. It's a very, you expect Kohli at Adelaide every single time. Still, he doesn't have an average in Adelaide.
No, he by the way said, and I was just looking through Twitter at just a while back. He said that whenever I'm in Adelaide, I feel at home.
He is at home. I mean, 154 and overall.
And he's
now-
got 5 centuries there across formats.
Yes.
And that's the most, if I can tell our viewers, that's the most he's gotten at any venue.
True.
So one of those.
three Test centuries and 2 ODI centuries.
ODI centuries.
One against Pakistan that he got in 2015.
2015?
Yes.
Yeah.
One against Australia that he got in a chase, if I
In
may
chase.
add. 90 and 64. Still averages, no average in Adelaide. No T20 average for Virat Kohli because he's
Not out.
dismissed. He needs another 50 runs more to overtake the legendary Prince
All right.
Brian Charles Lara as the most runs in this venue.
How many runs did you say?
50 more runs.
50 more?
Yeah.
One more match.
One more
The
match.
semi-final?
Yeah, semi-final incoming and loading. So that is about it.
Yes, thank you all so much for joining us.
And we will be back tomorrow for Pakistan versus South Africa. The end.
Right.
We'll be back with more updates from Adelaide. Sports Today Nikhil will send you some more updates tomorrow. And the Indian team might possibly leave tomorrow or maybe day after for Melbourne.
Correct.
For
Yeah.
the 6th November clash, which is the final league game.
Long flight again?
No, Adelaide, Melbourne's 2.5
I don't think that's
hours.
2.5 hours?
2.5 to 3 hours, yeah. Although Australia is a massive country.
Exactly.
Oof, 5 hours from Sydney to Perth. My goodness.
Yeah.
So that is about it. So give me, Shane and Harshit the permission to leave. We'll be back tomorrow. Not from the studio, but from certain other explainers that we'll be doing on this match.
Yeah. Plenty more stuff still to come.
More India build up to the Zimbabwe game from Melbourne and Adelaide in the coming days, and Pakistan, South Africa. Thank you, bye-bye, and don't forget to subscribe to Sports Today.
Subscribe, like, comment, share this
Everything,
video.
everything.
Follow us on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram too.
Thank
Okay.
you, bye-bye,
Bye-bye.
vanakkam.